All right, gather around one and all. Can everyone hear me all right? If you can hear me, put your popcorn in the air. I don't see nearly enough popcorn. You guys are going to have to get over there real quick. There we go. All right, well, thank you so much for coming out here tonight. It is so great to see so many members of the Portola community. I want to wish you all a good evening. You know, it was 90 years ago this past July when this theater first opened, and I have to imagine the mood was probably a lot like it is tonight. Celebration, excitement, popcorn, beautiful cars, anxiety. Is that just me? Okay, that one's just me. Well, it's been more than 30 years since this sign was last lit, and tonight we are going to light it again and bring it back to its original glory. Yeah. Now, the question I've gotten 100 times today, and I expect every one of you to ask me it by the end of the night, is what's going on with the inside of the theater? When are we going to see a movie in there? And the truth is, we don't quite know yet, but I will tell you this. What we are doing tonight is the start of realizing that dream, and all of it begins with that sign right there. The community has made it really clear that they believe in this theater. They've made it clear that you believe that this should be a community asset, that this should be something that serves each and every member of the Portola community. And we are going to get there together, and so I am so excited to celebrate the first step with you here tonight. Now, you're going to be hearing tonight from a good number of folks who have made all of this possible, because truly, it takes a village. But before we get started with all of that, I want to practice something. Is that all right? Can we practice something? We're going to be doing a lot of clapping, and I want to make sure we all are in practice, okay? So on the count of 3, I want to let out a big cheer, all right? 1, 2, 3. Woo! That was very good. That was good for a practice cheer. I'm excited about the potential that you are all showing out here tonight. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that that cheer is going to a very special group. And that group is all of you. Truly, we would not be here tonight if it weren't for each and every one of you who contributed to this crowdfunding campaign, who donated your time, your effort, your signatures. Every little last bit that went into this theater helped make it possible. So the first applause tonight should be for yourselves. Let's give it up. Well, you'll be hearing from our supervisor tonight, even the mayor himself. But first and foremost, I thought it was really important that we bring someone from the community up to the stage. David Bruno, who will be joining me shortly, has been a part of the movement to save and restore this theater since day one, and it felt fitting to bring him up here with his new baby to talk a little bit about what this space means to the community and what it can mean in the future. So without any further ado, let's give it up for David Bruno.
Thanks, Luke. This is Isla, my daughter. I just wanted to kind of take a moment to point out the last 5 years, at least since I've lived in this neighborhood, what I've seen. I grew up in the city, and I've watched it as it's changed, and I think a lot of what drew me to this neighborhood was the community feel that's still very much present here. I think one of the special things that we have in the Portola is that we all have a sense of our history, and we're all taking it currently and thinking about our future. And I think this sign tonight is going to be an excellent celebration of just how, not far we've come, but just how well we know ourselves. So I don't have a lot to say. I'm just incredibly thrilled to be a part of this community. I'm incredibly thrilled to be able to share in an experience like this with you. And I just hope that this community continues to champion its own identity and champion itself and look backwards as we look forwards. So thank you all.
Thank you, David. Well, next up, we're going to have Katherine Petrin from the Neighborhood Theater Foundation. The Neighborhood Theater Foundation has been instrumental in many of the theaters that you look at and say, I want the avenue to be like that. So it only felt right that we gave them an opportunity to come up here and talk about the importance of neighborhood theaters. So without any further ado, Katherine, come on up. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Hi, Hi, everybody. My name is Katherine Petrin, and on behalf of the, can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. On behalf of the San Francisco Neighborhood Theater Foundation, we want to congratulate the community, the city, the mayor, Supervisor Ronan, but most especially the Portola Neighborhood Association for taking the lead on the avenue. As Luke mentioned, the Avenue was built 90 years ago this year, in 1927, as a single-screen theater for 800 people. It was designed by the Reed brothers, architects James and Merritt Reed, their brothers. It was designed at a time when every neighborhood had its own movie palace, and sometimes even more than one. For the last 17 years, the San Francisco Neighborhood Theater Foundation has been dedicated to preserving and advocating for our city's historic movie theaters. We believe that historic theaters enhance our quality of life in San Francisco because they contribute to the unique character of our neighborhoods. They enliven the streetscape. They can revitalize a commercial corridor, and they give a great sense of neighborhood identity and pride to their neighborhoods. This is a vanishing building type that will never be built again. And while San Francisco has lost some theaters, we've also done a lot better than most other American cities at keeping our historic movie theaters. We cherish the Castro, the Vogue, the Balboa. The El Rey was recently landmarked this year. The Strand on Market Street was renovated in 2015. The Harding on Divisadero is set to reopen later this month. And the New Mission Theater, my personal favorite, is now the Alamo Draft House, which reopened in 2015, and it's a great movie experience. I see lots of people nodding, but what that's done for the neighborhood is really great. The Avenue's facade and neon renovation is a huge step in the right direction because these buildings are irreplaceable. So please remember the importance of patronizing historic theaters. We hope to see you at the movies or in any other wonderful renovated building for whatever use comes along. So see you at the movies. Thanks.
Thank you, Katherine. Really appreciate that. Next up, well, I want to say, as much as all of your contributions have made this possible, this next speaker represents an office that has truly laid all of the groundwork, built the structural support, and even practically installed the neon themselves. The city's Office of Economic and Workforce Development funded this project and made it a possibility for all of us, but even more so than that, and I'd say even harder, they had the vision to invest in this neighborhood, to invest in something that was not a sure bet, and to invest in a building that has a lot of value to each and every one of you. Their vision to see that through is really admirable. So I want you to give a really big round of applause to Joaquin Torres of the Mayor's Office of Economic and Workforce Development.
Thank you so much, Luke. We met each other, I don't know how many years ago today when I was Director of Neighborhood Services and Luke was an intern. He's come an extraordinarily long way in caring for our neighborhoods. So please give Luke a great big hand. Tonight represents, as Luke said, the continuation of a vision that Mayor Lee had when he stood here about 5 years ago by the then to becoming Borough Street Park, before Four Barrel Coffee was in place to announce an initiative called Invest in Neighborhoods, which would be present in communities like this one to ensure that we could realize the vitality and potential of each of these areas. And tonight's celebration is in recognition of that vision. We worked with the Portola Neighborhood Association to make sure that when the community wanted a new coffee house, we could bring Four Barrel to this neighborhood. When we wanted to see a pocket park come alive, we worked with the Portola Neighborhood Association and other community partners like Ruth Wallace to make it happen. When we lost O'Connor's Bar, we worked with Barbara Fenich to make sure that we had Ferment, Drink, and Repeat here. And I want to thank Shay and Kevin for making that a reality. I know all of us are excited to turn the lights on and get into FDR and also to come back for the garden tour in the Portola on September 30th for the after party at FDR. Those are true community partners in this space. And now we're here to celebrate the lighting of the Avenue Theater. And we thought that for those of us who have been working on the ground, whether it's been Luke Spray, whether it's been Jack Say, whether it's been Krazia Tano, whether it's been Amy Cohen, we thought that creating a program where we could see an investment like this happen, that it would be a hard ask. But Amy and I sat down and we made the pitch, and suddenly Mayor Lee said, you know what? Let's make it happen. I believe in this theater, I believe in this program, I believe in this neighborhood, and so now it's an honor for me to recognize and invite up to the stage tonight who believes in all of us, who believes in all of you, and who believes in neighborhood economic vitalities projects like the Ave, Mayor Edwin M. Lee.
Well, that was a nice introduction. I thought you were going to ask me to clean up the pigeons. Anyway, first of all, congratulations to the building owner working with the Portola Neighborhood Association, all of you here tonight. I'm here to prove that there is real nightlife in the Garden District, on the Avenue, in the Portola. And I need to correct Joaquin because it was more than 5 years ago. It was actually about 15 years ago that I met Irene Crescia. And that was the time when we were planting all these trees along San Bruno because there was an effort to beautify this avenue for good reason. People had already recognized decades ago that this would be a very vital neighborhood. Real people living in the neighborhood were very proud of their roots, proud of the Portola. And that was the time when I was corrected over and over and over again, never to refer to this place as, yeah, it's the Portola. That's why Mohammed and I did those signs down there at the beginning of the streets, got the trees in. That was when I introduced him to breakfast at Tiffany's. So I want to say my heart's been here for quite a long time. I want to thank my staff like Joaquin and Juan and others who work so hard to make sure it's all connected up. Money is not the issue. The issue is whether we have ideas to awaken the neighborhood, to make sure that we are supporting these neighborhoods. Because after all, San Francisco is a city of neighborhoods, just like the Garden District, the Portola. And if we can do it here tonight, we can do it all over the city to suggest that our neighborhoods awaken all of our neighborhoods in the city. And this is one of those fantastic ones. And we'll be glad to work with all of you to look at the long-term work as we excite everybody about the facade and the lighting tonight. There's more work to be done in the long term to keep this neighborhood vital, to keep it going. And let's really think about whether you want a theater or community meeting spaces or art performing things. I love the fact that you got the Academy of Art classical cards here, because that suggests that arts and performing arts are in the works for the Portola neighborhood. So let's keep working together. Let's keep doing all the right things to awaken this neighborhood. Let's keep this entire avenue lively, safe, and also vital for everyone. Thank you very much. Let's turn on the switch.
All right, how's everybody feeling? Woo! Awesome. So, like I said at the top of the program here, we've got a lot of people to thank. So, remember when we practiced our clapping? This is that moment. This is what all that preparation is here for, all right? So, a lot of hard work went into this, and so many of you contributed. I first off want to thank Bank of the West and NEMS, Dr. Ariel Lieberman, and Four Barrel for contributing to the project. Truly, we do not get here without their contributions. I also want to thank the Academy of Art for bringing these amazing cars out here. Let's give them a big round of applause. Wow. I said to myself while we were planning all this, it'd be nice to get some classic cars. I did not think that we were going to get the best in town, so a huge thank you to them. I want to thank Jack Say, my predecessor, who did an amazing job laying the groundwork here. Huge thank you to him. Phil Maloof, the building owner, who has played ball with us and allowed us to do so much to his building. Thank you so much. Let's give Phil a round of applause. Our contracts team at BACR, Adriana, Lisa, David, and Kathleen, you guys worked through so much with us, and we're really thankful. Thank you for letting us get this far. Peter Schmale, who made sure that we had insurance, and not only that, but came out tonight. How often does your insurance guy come out to see your theater? That is amazing. Let's give Peter a big round of applause. I want to thank our contractors, everyone who worked on this project. Claudia Merzario, our project manager, who orchestrated the intricate ballet of getting 100 different people seemingly up on that building without anyone stepping on each other's toes. Let's give Claudia a big round of applause. Bob Buchter, Dr. Color, who helped inform what this color scheme was going to be in the early days. Let's give Bob a big round of applause. Brian Lewis and the Birds Away team, who did so much to get the pigeons off of that building. I think they've worked harder than they ever worked. Let's give them a huge round of applause. We still got a little bit of work for them to do, just a little bit. We'll get there. If any of you have a hawk that we can borrow, we'd really appreciate it. I want to thank Mohammed and the Marbell Scaffolding team for giving us the opportunity to be very generous with the scaffolding as the timeline stretched on and on. They said, just keep it. You know, when you let your friend borrow some Tupperware, it's one thing. When you let them borrow 60 feet of scaffolding, it's a whole nother thing. So let's give them a big round of applause as well. Ray Lim and All Seasons Roofing for coming in and helping us fix our leaky roofs. Let's give them a big round of applause. Mark Stone and the whole Rosendin electrical team, they did so much to make sure that this building can light up and that we can all be confident that it's going to keep lighting up for the many, many years to come. Let's give them a big round of applause as well. Nita Riccardi and Winning Colors. You know, when you talk about someone going above and beyond on a job, Nita did literally every last thing I asked her to do on this. She did things that I even told her not to do because she was too proud of her work to let them go. So let's give Nita a huge round of applause. And finally, the man himself. Where's Jim Rizzo? Jim? There he is. So, Jim Rizzo was our neon contractor. A huge thank you to him and his entire team. They rebuilt this neon from the ground up, and let me tell you, they should have charged us double what they did. Jim did this as a labor of love for us, and he did all the extras. That beautiful, the Ave diamond right there, that was all him. That was a whole bunch of people saying, I love this theater and I want to be a part of this neighborhood. So let's give Jim a huge round of applause. I will say, though, if the applause is going to fit the work, maybe the applause should be delayed for a couple of weeks. Is that all right, Jim? All right, all right. I want to thank our neighborhood partners out here, to both the known and unknown neighbors of the Save the Avenue and the Renew the Avenue campaign. It was your early advocacy that planted the seeds for all of us to be able to be standing here today. Thank you. To the Native American Spiritual Wellness Center, who came out here and power washed this thing for many, many hours today. They were out there scraping gum, doing all sorts of things, contributing to the neighborhood. Let's give the Native American Spiritual Wellness Center a big round of applause. Sarah Burke, one of our board members and a local designer, helped refine the color scheme. The color scheme that you see in front of you is because Sarah came in and saved my life. So let's give Sarah a huge round of applause. She also came in and fixed those beautiful poster cases. So if you look at those fantastic posters in there, that was her. I also want to thank Sean, TJ, and Chris, who consulted on our lighting in the 11th hour to come in and make sure that everything was working. Let's give them a big round of applause. Lucia Pullman and Michael Connolly for being the jack of all trades and just pitching in wherever they could. Let's give them a big round of applause. A huge, huge, huge thank you goes out to Elisa, who curated the Avenue Theater History exhibit that you are about to see right inside of there. Let's give Elisa a big round of applause. Shay England and Alex Hobb, also P&A board members, who made this amazing switch that you see behind us. Let's give them a big round of applause. The switch is 100% real, by the way. That's how good they are. Speaking of Shay, I want to give a huge thank you to Kevin, Brian, Shay, and the entire FDR team for essentially serving as this project's Swiss Army knife. Whenever we needed a tool, a second opinion, or simply a place to send our contractors for a cold one, you were always the place to go for us, and it seems so fitting that we are going to end the night there tonight. Let's give a big round of applause to the whole FDR team. Hanging out in the back, I also want to thank Churn Urban Creamery, who has worked with us, to serve you all ice cream tonight, and also, fingers crossed, to hopefully occupy that Johnson's barbecue space in just a little while. They have been working so hard to come in here and just had a baby as well, but they're still out here trucking. Let's give them a big round of applause. And seriously, I cannot recommend it enough. Go get some of their ice cream. I also want to say a huge thank you, I said it at the top of the program, but to everyone that contributed to the crowdfunding campaign. This is for you. Those letters that you see on the marquee right there, the historic flashing sequence that Jim's team so artistically were able to recreate, you paid for that. So every time now that you walk up and down the avenue and you see it flashing, know that it was your contributions and your generosity that made that happen. So let's give yourselves a huge round of applause. And finally, you guys are good at this clapping. You guys are professionals at this point. I want to thank our city partners. I know I mentioned it before, but the city's economic of workforce development did so much to bring this project through. It requires a massive amount of vision to get this done. So let's give OEWD a big round of applause. Graziatano, Amy Cohen, Joaquin Torres, and Juan Carlos Cancino, who really deserves a big round of applause all of his own because he helped guide this project from start to finish. A huge, huge, huge thank you. We would not be here without them today. And I want to thank, of course, Mayor Ed Lee, whose vision enabled all of this from the get-go. It is a huge pleasure to have you out here. Let's give the mayor a big round of applause. And Mayor Lee, I heard you're a fan of ice cream and beer, so I think you might have to stick around a little later tonight, don't you think? All right. Last but not least, this is a thank you and an introduction. I want to invite to the stage our lovely supervisor, Supervisor Hillary Ronan. Bring her on up to the stage.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I just got here. I'm sorry I'm late. I was at my daughter's first PTA meeting, and I felt like I couldn't miss that. So I left early and ran over here to celebrate this incredibly momentous occasion. What an exciting night. So we know how incredible our neighborhood is. We know that it is, what do we call it, the least known, most fabulous? I know, what do we call it? The best little neighborhood you never heard of. We know all the reasons why, because we have by far the coolest librarian in the city. We have the best home brewed beer anywhere. We have gardens that can rival anywhere in this country in all of these houses all throughout this neighborhood. We have incredible restaurants and pocket parks. We are the Garden District of San Francisco. And little by little, sometimes it's a little scary, but it's also really exciting. People are getting to know this neighborhood because it is that special. And tonight, the Avenue Theater, which is such a large presence on San Bruno Boulevard, is going to be returned to all its glory. And so it's going to bring back that energy and that excitement to this boulevard that it deserves. And we're going to continue to see improvements and community more and more in the Portola. So I just wanted to congratulate everyone for this incredible occasion tonight. I wanted to thank former Supervisor David Campos, who several years ago is the one who got this money through the ADVAC process to realize this project. And I let him know on the phone tonight that this is happening, and he was so excited. And really just want to thank everyone in this neighborhood. I see so many faces that I love and respect and admire so much, who really put in the sweat equity to make the Portola what it is. So congratulations, everyone, and I can't wait to see the theater light up.
All right, thank you, Hillary. Well, with that as our introduction, let's get all of our speakers up here on the stage and flip this totally 100% real switch. Come on up. Now, I'm going to need all of your help to help us count down, okay? Because why even do this if we can't have a fun countdown, are you right? You know? David, come on up here. All right, where's Katherine? Is Katherine still here? Come, get on up here, please. All right, I'm going to yell this one, so if you can hear me, I hope so. So I'll grab the switch here. All right, everyone, we're going to count down from 5, all right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone, well, the band's going to keep playing for a little while. We've got popcorn, we've got posters, we've got ice cream. Take all the pictures you want and enjoy.